Okay.
I love the fact that we prioritize each other in such a way to where nothing outside of us can influence or impact our relationship in a way that could damage us or throw us off or anything like that. Because, nowadays, man, people will blame everything for the destruction of marriages and relationships and all type of stuff. They'll blame it on family. They'll blame it on social media. They'll blame it on friends, all of that stuff. And I love the fact that we had a type of partnership to where nothing outside of us has ever had the ability to throw us off.
Right.
Especially knowing that now we're in a space to where we're public about most of what's going on, in our lives and in our world when it comes to how we deal with our marriage and the things that we're growing through, stuff like that.
Right.
That is a very bold move to make, especially when so many people allow outside forces to come inside of their marriages and throw them off. So I'm really glad to know that we have the type of marriage that is unshakable to anything outside of us.
Right. And we make sure of that. Like, we've always been solid on us. Like, even before we got married, we were solid on our friendship. We were solid on ourselves. Like, when we were dating, when we got engaged, like, we were just solid as fuck. And like, nothing influenced what we had going on. And we were just sure of what we had,
Yeah.
So it was hard for people to even try to come and plant seeds. Like, even when they said, oh, don't get married, you're too young, or you don't get married in the army, or all this nonsense. It's like, you don't know us. Like, you know us, but you don't know us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that one dude who came on my page talking about these social media marriages and stuff like that or whatever. And I'm like, social media marriage? What even
is that?
Like, what does that even mean, bro?
Right.
I'm like, no, we been solid.
Right.
Like, we only started sharing this stuff, man, because we wanted to do it for us.
Right.
And we wanted to be able to share some of the stuff that we were growing through and learning and being able to look back at it and be able to just see our own growth, which is really what we've been doing the whole time.
Pretty much.
And I think that opened us up so much because we didn't even know that there was a world where people were so drastically impacted inside of their relationships because of what was happening online.
Right.
Didn't even know like that was a thing.
We were in our own little happy hole. Like, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't even know about the whole men versus women type thing. Like, we didn't know any of this stuff until we started looking. I'm like, oh, this is a whole different world we didn't know about.
Right.
Like, we didn't know there was pee in the dating pool. Like, we didn't know anything. It's like, oh, this is what y'all deal with now?
Ain't even our concern.
Yeah, it wasn't our concern at all until we was like, okay, well, let's talk about our marriage. And then go from there.
Yeah, and so what's dope about us is the fact that like we were solid long before social media was what it is now. Like now it's a monster. And now I know people, they look at Instagram just as much as a dating app as other things and all of what people be shooting they shot it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of other stuff be going on. And I'm like, bro, I don't partake in all of that other stuff. I get how it can be an issue in some other people's marriages and other people's relationships, but that ain't us. And especially when it comes down to marriage in and of itself, no other voice should be louder than the one you and your spouse have between each other.
Yes.
And I think what really be tripping me out is the fact that like people like to blame outside sources and what those things did to their relationships, supposedly. But it's like, bro, you didn't protect it either. Or sis, or whatever the case may be. You didn't do that work proactively to be able to establish a stronger foundation inside of your marriage or your relationship. Or it may not be at the level that you think it is. Or maybe your selection, might not have been the best choice. Whatever the case may be, or the person's standards of values might not be there. Anything.
I just think it's full of shit because like people just don't like to own their own decisions.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, whatever happens on social media happened on social media. And what you did with the social media is the problem, not social media.
Yeah.
Okay, like I hate when people do that. Like own your shit. Like you did something to where now social media is the problem because you did something with it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't social media because there's a lot of positive things about social media.
You picked up the gun.
You picked
and pulled the trigger.
And pulled the trigger. Like it was you. So there was something about you that you need to fix in order for you to behave on social media.
Mm-hmm. Simple as that.
Accountability, ownership.
All of that.
You should be responsible for your own actions.
And that's the same on and offline.
Period.
And I know, man, I done got it thrown in my face, you know, the whole, what if he or she cheat and all this other stuff or whatever, which is, of course, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
We can.
I mean, whatever. What really get me, though, is people don't understand the work that we've put in between us.
Yeah, of course.
And how our relationship and our marriage has grown into what it is. Mm-hmm. And it's not for nobody else to know.
Of course.
It's not for anybody else to know, to understand at the level that we do and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But we understand it. Mm-hmm. And it's so unfortunate, man, that people can be so distracted by everything that's going on outside of their own space to where it ends up becoming it's not even that it becomes their reality. It's the fact that they like to start making it their reality when it's not. Mm-hmm. They be living in freaking fairy tale worlds. Mm-hmm. And they be trying to project their idea of what they think the world is like or what they think people are like on other people. Yeah. Just because they've accepted that belief.
Right.
And that is such an unfortunate space to live in.
It is. And I feel like it's so strong in the relationship space. I'm going to go back to the what if he cheats? Because like, for some reason, that's like a big thing to people. What if he or she cheats? And I'm like, okay, well, what if you get in your car and it blows up? What if you go to your job and you get fired? What if you step outside of your house and you get shot? Like there's so many what ifs in so many other areas, but it doesn't stop you from driving on the highway to get to work. You still show up to work every day. Like there's so many what ifs and so many scenarios that we can make up about any and everything. But for some reason, cheating is just the thing that people like to magnify.
Yeah.
I guess you can say. And it's like, it's so irrelevant. Like for our type of marriage, the type of marriage that we have, we don't have time to focus on creating negative scenarios about shit that just doesn't matter. We're so focused on having a productive, above average marriage. We don't entertain any of that stuff. We never have. We don't entertain drama. We don't entertain crazy scenarios. We don't entertain anything like that. So we don't think about it. Like, so I'm sorry, that's not my focus right now. My focus is making sure I'm a dope ass wife for my dope ass husband and we live a dope ass life.
Come on.
That's it. Like, I just don't have time for that. And it's like, I know we're talking about relationships, but I don't like focusing on the negative things in general about life at all.
Period.
Like we're talking about marriage, but just in life, mm-hmm. Like if everything you're looking for is negative, something is wrong with you. You should probably go seek some type of help, because if all you can see is negative scenarios in everything, something is wrong. That's not life. That's living in misery. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't want to live a life like that. Should probably seek some help.
It's stupid.
It is. Like
it's just stupid.
Like, why focus on the possible negatives in every single scenario? Why?
It's so interesting to me because I don't know what other people talk about
okay.
in their marriages and in their relationships.
Yeah.
But for us, we've always been so hyper focused on our growth, mm-hmm. our dreams, and who we're becoming. Yeah. And those are the types of conversations that we have, how we're navigating certain situations in our lives, right. Overcoming our own things that we're dealing with personally and different mm-hmm. things like that. Mm-hmm. We have those types of conversations. Those are our normals.
Right.
How we're leveling up, different things that we might find to be difficult or whatever the case may be, and how we're growing through those situations. Mm-hmm. Our conversations have never been about other people's drama. Yeah. It's never been about, oh, did you see XYZ and how this, that, and the third is happening? Like that is not what we find to be something worthwhile talking about all the time. Like, we're so focused on who we're becoming together and how we're trying to grow individually and where we are right now in the moment. Even even when we weren't at our best, so to say, we were still talking in those moments about how we had to get out of being not our best.
Yes.
Hyper focused on us.
Yes.
And like, I'd be so confused because I'm like, bro, where do people find the time to overly concern themselves with things that don't add any real substance to their marriage or to their relationships? Like, I don't get it. And so, and going back to your whole point or whatever, like the cheating and projecting and all of that other stuff, it's never even been a thought to me. I'm like, bruh, do you not understand? Like, my wife is important. She is important to who I am and who I'm becoming. You are so valuable to every aspect of who I am and all that I want to accomplish going forward in my future. And like, people don't understand that when you get that invested into your marriage and to who you're with, it literally changes everything.
Right.
And I know that you're one of the greatest assets I could ever have for all that I want to become.
Right.
And I would be crazy to sit around and freaking fumble that.
Right.
Like, bro, there's no other woman that could come into my life and take up space the way that my wife has. There ain't no space for you to take up. My wife got it all.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, what you give to me is way more than what another person could do for me. Another woman could do for me, like physically. Hell no. Ain't no freaking way. And so, I don't know. I just get so confused. I'm like, bro, y'all don't have nothing deeper to where somebody can just throw you off by just a physical attraction? Like, you ain't got nothing deeper than that? Like, that's all it took. That's all it took.
Sometimes that's really what it be, babe.
Yeah.
That's really what it be. Because I know, like, something we've asked each other before, I'm like, I wonder the conversations that people actually have, because I feel like we have deep conversations, but I feel like we do have like surface level conversations to get us into the deeper, into the deep. But I just wonder, like, when people are having conversations about their relationships, like, what are you actually talking about?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever talk about your relationship itself and where you're going in your relationship? Or does all your conversations only revolve around work, the kids, your favorite shows, and the drama that
your
comes with that? Yeah.
people.
And I'm like curious. I'm like, well, of course, if all of that stuff is more of a conversation than your relationship, you're headed in the wrong direction anyway. If that's what's most important, or you put that on such a pedestal to where you're talking about those things all the time and not talking about each other. So I don't know. It's just, I just be curious. Like, I just want to listen in on people's conversations sometimes.
It's like when we be watching like the little love shows and stuff like that, and I be listening to their conversations. I be like, is this what normal people talk about?
Yeah, like, this is so basic.
Like, that's the type of stuff that y'all talk about,
right?
Even when I've seen people like in real life, I be like, is this what y'all normal conversations like be about? And I personally just don't get it. And I say that because, of course, no two people's marriages and things like that are the same.
Obviously.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that there can be such a hyper focus on all of these other things outside of your marriage, when you're talking to the one that you're doing life with, and you never find time and space to be able to sit down and talk about your lives together and talk about things that matter and actually impact who you are today and who you're becoming tomorrow with each other, and all of these things that make your lives better. Like, even... It makes no sense to me.
It doesn't.
And so, like, even when we were walking earlier today, and I just play back, the conversations that we've had just recently in the past week or so, we've talked about, how we want to be able to do certain things for our family, different things that we need to overcome. We talk about our goals and some of the challenges that we're dealing with right now, and game planning on how we're going to be able to navigate some of those things. We talk about our future romance and intimacy and how we're going to connect, and different things that we look forward to being able to do together inside of our marriage. We talk about different fears and different things that we have like in the moment, and how those things have held us back before, and how now some of those things might still be present, but they're not holding us back.
Right.
And how we're moving and navigating through some of those things together. These are the type of conversations we have regularly.
Yes.
That's the type of stuff that we talk about.
Right.
So when I see people, they whole conversations just be about, oh, you know, did this get paid? Or, hey, you know, so my friend, her and her dude, they did this, that, and the third. And like, and I hear this craziness that people talk about, and I'm like, what? Like, no wonder.
Yeah.
No wonder that it's so easy for other things to creep in, because y'all don't have nothing. All y'all got is everything else outside of y'all.
Oh, that's the only thing keeping y'all connected.
It's other people's crap.
Oh.
Like other stuff, that other obligations. Like, you're not future pacing your marriage and your relationship. You're not talking about stuff that actually keeps you tight. You're not finding opportunities to where you can bond. Like, I tell you something, and I'm like, man, all right, I got to get this thing done, but I'm struggling with it. But when you called me and you told me XYZ, like, man, babe, that helped me get through it. Next time, you know, you're doing that same thing for me, like the next day, because you heard that and you responded. And we talking about, I'm like, all right, well, I'm having a hard time doing this. And you're like, babe, what can I do to support you? How can I help you navigate that? And I'm like, babe, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. And then we talk through it, and we figuring these things out together. And we're talking about, like, man, you see how we overcame? And that's what we're talking about. So I don't get it when other people are just drowning out everything that they could have together with all of this other crap that don't mean nothing. So it makes sense for people to be overly concerned with everything else that could damage, or what they want to blame the damage of their marriage and their relationships on. Like, I get it, because y'all ain't building nothing. And it's sad, because this is the norm. And that is a really shitty place to be in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. This is a good conversation, first of all. Like, I didn't know we were going to talk about this.
Me either. You know, we sit down and we
good.
fire up the mic and see what happens.
This was good. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'd be confused too. Like, what do y'all talk about? Why are y'all together?
Yeah, like, what are you doing to actually keep the connection?
Right. Like you said before, people are they don't have meaningful marriages. They're just conveniently together. Like, that's really the norm, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, it's rare to see meaningful marriages that are freaking thriving.
Yeah. And for me and you, we're so connected that you could never hide negative emotions from me.
Right.
And I could never hide a negative emotion from you.
We feel that stuff when we're apart.
It ain't a fake smile I could put on nowhere. Like, I can instantly pick up on your energy.
Right.
And it ain't no faking, pretending, none of that you could do to, like, even, I couldn't even pretend to be, I ain't nothing I could hide.
Babe, it's been points where I could feel the shift in you when we were apart. Like, you would be at work and I would be at home, and I could feel something like, something ain't right. Let me check on him. And something was not right. And like, we talking to each other through it. Like, that's like a normal thing. Like, we're that connected to where we don't even got to be with each other to be connected.
And know something is going on.
And something ain't right. Yeah.
And we've been like that for so long. And so, like, people really sleep on the fact of how valuable and emotional and mental and spiritual connection is between two people. But you have to actually, like, develop that. Like, we know each other in ways nobody else ever could, because we pay attention to each other and we're actually curious. We're actually interested in what each other got going on and who we're becoming and what we're dealing with. And we're trying to find ways to where we can include ourselves in whatever that is to be able to show up and show support. And that allows us to be able to have this bond that is unlike anything anybody else could ever have with us. You know what I mean? Like, to have that type of connection, when you get to that point, ain't no going back from that.
Right.
And so it's like, when I hear people say all of this crazy stuff, just projecting their own insecurities, I be so dumbfounded because I'm like, bruh, you ain't at this level yet. You haven't gotten to this point in any type of relationship or marriage or whatever the case may be yet to understand that it take way more than just somebody being attractive to come in and throw off our marriage, or for one of us to just step out and just want to do all of this other stuff. Like, what's holding us together ain't physical. I mean, though that is a great part of it, it is a great part. You know what I'm saying? But we have so many other things that are so much more valuable that I wouldn't even know how to function in this world without my wife and what you do for me. I like
it that way.
For real.
I like it that way.
I wouldn't even know what to do because we've been so intertwined for real. Over 10 years.
For real.
Who am I without my wife? Like, I wouldn't even know. What do you do? What
do you do?
Where do socks come from?
You're
like,
annoying.
Once the clothes are washed, what happens next? You know what I'm saying?
Your lunch just magically appears in his lunchbox.
You
like,
know
so much stuff is just magically happening.
What do you do?
You're so stupid.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, how do you battle your own problems, like, by yourself? Like, how do you
Who can I trust that I actually know is in this thing with me and who's also invested in the outcome just as much as I am?
Yeah.
It's like, it's so much deeper than what anybody else. Like, I know that all of the unlocked potential that I still have in me, I know you play a role in me unlocking that. I'm hyper aware of that. And my dreams and my vision for myself and our marriage and our relationship and everything that we have together is so huge that nothing outside of us can come in and throw that off. Ain't no freaking way.
No freaking way.
No way.
No fucking way.
Because we got you so goofy, girl. Like, but that's the thing though. You know, when you're really that invested in another person, you protect with everything you got.
Listen, I don't think people realize like how aggressive we are about our marriage.
For
like,
real, bro.
I be sitting here real calm, but like, bro, I don't play when it comes to my marriage. I don't play when it comes to my husband. Like, fuck with it if you want to.
I will kick you in your chest.
Listen, I've been wanting to spark and kick him up for years. I'm ready. Like,
just for the sheer practice of it.
Why not? But seriously, like, we don't play when it comes to our marriage. Like, this ain't something, we just signed a piece of paper and that was it. No. We locked in.
Ain't nothing to play with.
Ain't nothing to play with. Us and God? You think we finna play? No.
No, not even a little bit.
No.
So yeah, we just don't get it, man. Like,
and I'm okay with not getting it. I don't want to. I don't want to understand.
Like, people can keep all of that.
Yeah.
They can keep all of that insecurity and all of that useless crap to themselves. You know, and I hope that all that we share at least opens up different thought patterns to where they can consider some things differently. And just believing also that there are people out here whose relationships and whose marriages are significantly based on more than just physical attraction and benefits and things of that nature.
And paying bills.
Like all of the other bull crap, the stuff that comes with adulthood.
With adulting, like,
like there's way more levels of depth that you can build in a marriage to where all of that other stuff really just becomes irrelevant. When your main objective is to serve one another and to care for one another and to love one another in a way that nobody else can.
Absolutely.
When you get to that point, you see the world completely differently than anybody else does. And I know for a fact, man, that like where we are in our marriage, most people don't get there. And there's people out here, and we know this because we get a lot of comments and DMs. People who have been married 20 plus years and still don't have the level of substance in their marriages that we've developed in our 10 years. Shoot, we probably was ahead of them at 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of the level of intentionality that we put into what we have. And so the length of time means nothing, but the
Exactly.
intentionality behind it means everything.
Yes.
And so the fact that we've gotten to this point and understanding that most people who get married still won't get to this point.
Mm.
And having to understand that we are basically aliens. We should be captured, studied, and researched.
Shut up.
You know what I'm saying?
Shut
Like, bro,
up.
let's just call it what it is. It's not common to be here.
Right. It's,
This
above,
is
it's
not-
above average shit.
It's above average. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't get to this point in their marriage. Like, it's a lot of them out here that are, but we are. What is it? We're not. We're the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Is what they call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that comes with being misunderstood.
Yeah.
And that's just what
That's
it
okay.
is.
And that's okay.
Because we ain't trying to understand the opposite end of this.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
Just understand, man, if you try us over here, man, we different. We different. Don't let the kind-heartedness fool you. Know what I'm saying, babe?
I know what you're saying.
Anyway. You got something else?
I don't got
We
nothing
done
else to
with
say.
Hey, we hope y'all enjoyed the episode, man. My name is John Tron. This is my queen.
Adoria.
And until next time, family, peace and love.